Not only grown-ups can sing, we can too.
So easy on me, baby. I was still a child, didn't get the chance to.
CBC TV 8 is having a kids karaoke show just for us. So children between the ages of 5 to 17 comment and join in for fun. Email nfroster@cbc.bb. Hear you soon. Bye.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities. Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember,
Report for today, Wednesday, October 25th. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. In our top story, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital will be receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars in aid. The philanthropy of Bajan Forever, a non-governmental organization, will be gifting the QEH over $200,000 in needed supplies. The Consul General accompanied the president of the group out of South Florida, Rosalind Seeley, to make the donation of admission kits, signaling the launch of the initiative, which will see another donation in December. The Chief Operations Officer of the QEH, Dr. Christine Greenwich, says the hospital has a philanthropy objective.
We want to partner more with our CGs throughout the United States, as well as those in the UK, as well as in Canada. Coming from New York myself a year and a half ago to the QEH, I can attest that there are many, many associations, Barbadian-based, that are willing to partner and help out the QEH, as well as other industries here in Barbados, by giving back. This was the premise of my coming back home, to give back my knowledge in over 40 years of healthcare experience. So I know that this team is a small sample of what I know exists in our communities internationally.
President of Bajan Forever, Rosalind Seeley, says while the group is a carnival band, they help in a number of other areas.
We are excited to make a donation to the Community Hospital in Barbados that consists of admission kits, hospital gowns, and socks. This donation is the beginning of an extension partnership with the hospital.
Consul General Rudy Grant says this group and others have been doing a lot for the country, and he wants for more to be given as part of this giving process because times are tough.
The reality is that we are existing in a very challenging and difficult time. And the truth is that there are many amongst us who need assistance and help. And when you have associations such as Bajan Forever, that even though persons are living outside of Barbados, that connection and commitment to Barbados is extremely strong. It is something that we have to applaud.
The gift of cups, socks and bowls were particularly well received by Senior Nursing Officer Lisa Askill.
And I wish to thank Consul General, Mr. Rudy Grant, of course, Ms. Bajan Forever, Ms. Rosalind Seeley, and Mr. Brathwaite from the council as well, and of course our COO, Dr. Christine Greenidge, on behalf of the Nursing Services Department. We thank you sincerely for your donation. We know that this will go far away with our patients, and we look forward to a continued relationship with the diaspora.
Meanwhile, the Consul General says that in Miami, people are generally willing to help.
Within the Miami jurisdiction, and when I say that, we are responsible for 11 states. Within our jurisdiction, there are a number of Barbadians that have done well in different areas, whether it relates to education, healthcare like Dr. Greenidge, or areas with respect to engineering. There are a number of Barbadians that have done exceptionally well and are leading many institutions. And we can leverage assistance from those Barbadians. And the consulate in Miami, we have been actively doing that. Indeed, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade has a focus, and this is something that Prime Minister Mortley has requested that we place a lot of emphasis on, relating to commercial diplomacy. And while the commercial diplomacy component deals with ensuring that we're able to facilitate training, able to facilitate investment, able to facilitate the opportunity for jobs, at the same time, it allows us to collaborate with Barbadians and those who love Barbados in order to be able to provide assistance and support where it is needed.
Great news. Well, coming up on the CBC Morning Report, the Barbados government speaks out on the war between Israel and Hamas.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
The government of Barbados is condemning what it calls the heinous terrorist attacks perpetrated on Israel on October 7, 2023, which caused 1,000 to lose their lives and hundreds to be taken hostage, including women and children. In a statement released last evening, the government noted that those responsible for the devastating violent acts must be brought to account. The media release further expressed alarm at the deteriorating situation in the Middle East and the deep concern for the safety and security of the people of Israel and Palestine. The conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza threatens to spill over to the entire Middle East with catastrophic results for the people of that region, global peace, and the ready fragile multilateral order. If the conflict continues unabated, it will also have devastating impacts on vulnerable populations everywhere. Barbados further called for the immediate unconditional release of all hostages and the provision of humanitarian assistance in all its dimensions to the people of Gaza. The statement concluded by noting that a sustainable peace must be world's singular focus, and it is only with dialogue that this can be achieved. Meanwhile, the Israeli military says it has hit more than 400 Hamas targets, and they're warning that it will take time to achieve its aim of destroying the Palestinian group.
The moment an Israeli strike hits near a hospital in Gaza City, staff rush to help the injured, carrying them on stretchers to the already overcrowded hospital. There's been no let-up in Israel's bombardment, and no end to the screams and cries that follow. Some are people calling for help. Others are grieving. The realization that in an instant, loved ones have been killed. Then there's a frantic attempt to leave before another strike, but there's nowhere to go.
First, we took shelter in the mosque. We received a warning from the Israelis that it would be shelled. Then we gathered in one of our extended family's home. We received another warning with instructions to head south. As we headed to the south, the bombardment continued, so we decided to go back. And if we die at home.
Hospitals are running out of medication and fuel to operate the generators, putting babies in incubators and ICU patients at risk. And they are at full capacity. 2 to a bed, patients in corridors, some even treated on the floor. Palestinians are desperate for aid. Nowhere near enough has been allowed in. The destruction is immense, and Palestinian families who have been displaced time and time again now find themselves once more without homes.
Meanwhile, although all of the attention is now on the war between Israel and Hamas, the other war between Russia and Ukraine is now into day 609.
A big increase in fighting has been reported along much of the front in the east at a number of different points. The Russians continuing attempts to try to surround the city of Avdiivka, just outside Russian-controlled Donetsk. But we're also getting reports of more fighting at places like Bakhmut and Kupiansk, where battle has raged now for many months. According to the Ukrainians, the Russians once again seeming to have adopted this tactic of sending in waves of infantry, accepting, it seems, very high casualties in return for very little being gained in terms of territory. As this push continues, President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine has met with his military commanders to discuss the situation across the country. Also, we're getting reports with the increased fighting in the south around Kherson. An order has now been given for the evacuation of 800 children from frontline settlements there.
Well, it's time to preview what's coming up on Morning Barbados. Today, we're going to team up with Supreme Counseling for Personal Development as we tell you all about a wonderful initiative they have on parenting traveling all around the island. We're talking parenting guidelines. Plus, Bamboo Retreat will be here. We are giving you some options for rejuvenation. And we'll be talking with Sandy Field Kelman, a girl guider, and she will be sharing all of the great things they're doing. Plus, we're linking up with CBC personality Joanne Seeley. That's all coming up on today's presentation of Morning Barbados at 6:30. But next, we have more news, sports, and weather. So stay with us.
The One is more than a station.
We don't just play music, we keep you company, cheer you up, keep you informed and entertained. We are a vibe. What do you mean?
Every day we bring the party to you.
We are your #1 party station.
We love playing music for our listeners.
One of the major arteries of Barbados road network is in line for a much-needed upgrade. Highway 7, which according to Deputy Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw, will undergo some remedial work. It should begin before the end of the month. CBC's Wendy Burke tells us the announcement was made as a number of concerns were brought before Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley and other members of her administration during this week's Christchurch Speaks meeting.
The issues were many: the state of the roads, flooding problems, educational assessments, environmental challenges, and roads being blocked by derelict vehicles. These were all put on the table for the Prime Minister, her deputy, and Christchurch representatives to address. Motorists complained of constant car repairs due to the less than ideal condition of Highway 7, but some temporary relief is coming for them.
We need to be able to find something as a temporary measure to be able to allow us to have the design work done, to have the persons contracted as the consultants, and then be able to have construction actually started for Highway 7. I know Prime Minister wants the date to be even more significantly reduced, but that right now is our best case scenario in terms of being able to really get all of the variables that we have in front of us with the utility companies, get that sorted, and we will give you a temporary fix on the Highway 7 certainly before the end of November.
Prime Minister Motley says she will be unrelenting on the issue.
I want it even quicker because people need to know in Christchurch that I am as much a strong representative of Christchurch as I am of other parts of this country. So believe you me, I am on this like white pun rice because this is unacceptable.
A number of residents also raised land concerns. Among them was Mary Yearwood of Wilcox Hill.
If a matter is tied up in litigation, is the government going to get taxes? Minister Strawn, I am wondering if anybody has done any survey or audit to see how many lands, parcels of lands and property tied up in the court legal system.
Prime Minister Motley took the point and noted there were delays in other areas as well because of litigation.
It's a very good point, Ms. Yearwood, and if it hasn't been done, it is one suggestion I can take willingly from you on this floor tonight, because you are speaking absolutely correct. I make the point not so much with land, I make the point all the time with personal injury reports, because when you can't get a personal injury report in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, what you are doing is locking up the reserves of an insurance company, and it therefore means that the insurance company is going to try and find ways of being able to protect itself from having to put down all them reserves, and then the whole system becomes distorted.
Minister Strawn made it clear taxes are still to be paid.
The fact that it is in court does not absolve you of the responsibility of settling said taxes. Okay?
Well, I hope
that sounds like the tax man in the Bible.
I hope he's doing his additions.
Look, we are going to do the research and see how many parcels of land, because I think what you've raised is eminently sensible, and it should not be difficult for the registry to be able to tell us how many matters we have in the system that relate to land disputes, and then to do a assessment as to how many of them are in fact paying their taxes.
The majority of residents left with their queries answered or a point of contact to get their matters resolved. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Wendy, Barbados is awaiting word from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, or CCRIF, on whether it will receive a payout following heavy flooding over the weekend. The update from Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Ryan Strawn, came as he spoke from the floor of Parliament yesterday. Several communities, particularly in Christchurch and St. Michael, were inundated with water associated with the passage of Hurricane Tammy. CCRIF offers member countries a number of insurance policies, including against excess rainfall.
I'm awaiting the preliminary report, sir, from CRIF to determine whether or not we will get a payout for the amount of rain that fell in Barbados over the weekend. Based on what I saw, certainly in my own constituency and across Barbados, I don't see how we do not, and that will help go a long way for helping to bring some measure of relief, at least from a government finance perspective, to be able to look at that.
Mr. Strawn was speaking as he introduced the Debt, Natural Disaster and Pandemic Deferment of Payment Miscellaneous Provisions Bill. The bill paves the way for government to defer the payment of debt for 2 years in the event of a significant natural disaster.
It would mean that we're the only country in the world, sir, where all of our debt, except for treasury operations, which is short term, all of our debt would include these clauses, because it is important for us to appreciate that if a disaster happens in the way that it did with COVID and the others, that the government has a specific responsibility to try to mitigate against the social impact. Creditors will not be disadvantaged because all of our debt right now, sir, unlike before, all of our debt is amortizing, which means, sir, that we don't wait until the end to pay off the principal. We give people back a piece of the principal either every quarter or every 6 months.
Guyana and Cuba have signed a memorandum of understanding to provide technical support services in forestry and agriculture in Guyana. The MOU seeks to establish a general framework of collaboration between the Ministries of Agriculture in Cuba and Guyana, with an emphasis on agriculture and vegetable products, livestock and animal products, beekeeping, forestry, and other areas. We have a report from DPI.
The MOU was signed between the Director General of the Ministry, Madam Lal Ramraj, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Delman Ned, and Cuban Ambassador to Guyana, Jorge Francisco Subaran Lewis, at the Artichon Conference Center Saturday morning.
The government is responding to the apiculture industry. Guyana Forest has a great potential for apiculture. If exploited, it can create employment and sustainable income for the population residing in the hinterland areas. Guyana has several hectares of land that is mostly unserved with respect to beekeeping, and provide tremendous potential for the expansion of the apiculture industry, and will allow for the increase in production of honey to meet the 2025 initiative, allowing Guyana to become an exporter of honey in CARICOM.
Meanwhile, Ambassador Lewis emphasized how crucial it is to sign the MOU to advance food production and security in the region.
We believe this is a very important step.
In sports, Barbados continue to find the going tough at the Pan American Games in Santiago, Chile. On day 4 yesterday, tennis player Darian King lost his rung of 64 match, but surfer Chelsea Tuock advanced to the second round.
East Barbadian tennis player Darian King served a spectator's delight here at the tennis center in Chile, Santiago. Of course, yours truly, Damien Best, live on location. It was an epic fight from the Barbadian, who won the first set, but unfortunately, the 102nd ranked Barrios pulled off the victory in the end, 2-1. King, ranked 475th in the world, won the first set 6-4, but the world number 102 hit back to take the second at 6-3 before closing out the contest 7-5 in the third in 2 hours and 45 minutes of mouth-watering tennis at the center.
There in the second set, I think I was unlucky losing my serve, I think at 3-all. So I mean, not a good service game for me, but throughout even that second set, I had a couple of chances and stuff, but didn't capitalize, and that's when you put yourself in a little hole. And he ran away with the second set, so after being down 5-3, I was already then thinking, okay, just try to focus on the third, try to get a good start, but unluckily he got the good start in the third, but luckily I battled back and showed a lot of fight. As I said, unlucky in the third too, 4-all, missed a forehand wide that could definitely could have clinched it, but I mean, that's how tennis goes sometimes. Unlucky today, but hopefully it's a new turn, it's a turn page for me to get back out there to compete against these guys again. And looking forward to it.
Darian's coach on this trip is former national player Shannon Williams, who says clear surfaces are needed if Barbados are to have the edge in future tournaments.
Clay court would definitely benefit tennis in Barbados. You know, I think that's a surface that requires more than just hitting big. You know, it requires some thinking, it requires some finesse, it requires longer points, you know, some stamina. So I think that will help the players going forward in the future, playing in South America, North America, where a lot of tournaments are, you know, to learn how to compete in the sport all around, you know, instead of just competing on one surface. You know, you can't be one-dimensional in this sport, especially if you want to succeed.
Hundreds of miles away, Barbadian surfing sensation Chelsea Tuat advanced to the second round of the women's shortboard after she beat Isabella Gomez of Colombia in a head-to-head battle, 8.67 to 8.23. The 27-year-old Tuat has scores of 6.50 and 2.17 and will now be in the main round of competition. She remains Barbados' best chance at securing a medal. Tuat will now take on Estela Lopez of Chile on Thursday at around 11:27 local time at Punto de Lobos. She's happy for the victory, but it was tough.
It was a very tough heat to start. They're only giving us 20 minutes and it's a very long wave. Takes about 6 or 7 minutes to paddle out, so no room for mistakes. Not the best heat overall. It was a little bit scrappy at the end, but really happy to make it out of that one. I've definitely learned a lot and looking forward to a more put together performance. Strategy for round 2. Just trying to find 2 waves. It's crucial to really pick the right ones, hoping for a fast start and 2 good ones, and really looking forward to my next round and to hopefully put down some really high scores.
In the pool, Barbadian Jack Kirby won his heat in the men's 50-meter freestyle in 23.49 seconds, but that placed him 20th overall and unfortunately out of contention for the B final. Reporting live from Santiago, Chile, Damien Best, CBC Sports.
CBC will continue to bring you all the sporting action. It's time now for a look at the weather. The barometric pressure stands at 1008.7 millibars. It's currently 26.2 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity stands at 94%, and the winds are blowing out of the east at 7 kilometers per hour. Present weather is fair. Sea conditions here in Barbados, smooth to moderate in open water with swells ranging from 1 to 1.5 meters and increasing. And here's a look at how your tides roll in today. General forecast for Barbados. A mix of sunshine and clouds with the occasional scattered light to moderate showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms, especially across northern parishes. Into the evening, you can expect clear with cloudy periods with a few brief scattered light showers and a very slight chance of isolated thunderstorms. Well, that's today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations on 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. It's time now for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
It's Wednesday, October 25th. Good to have you in company. Welcome to another Morning Barbados presentation. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. And boy, this month has been racing by. I don't know if you agree, but I feel like the month of October definitely went quickly. As we say in this part of the world, when it's coming close to Christmas, the days get shorter, and there may be some science to it. I'm sure we can prove that as well. A special good morning to those of you locked on across the diaspora, always ready to hear what's happening here in Barbados. And we most certainly are ready to share with you all of the exciting things that are happening here and have those difficult conversations as well, which is the case today. We're going to be talking parenting on today's presentation with Supreme Counseling for Personal Development. They've also been on a trek all around the island to engage with parents and young people alike to be able to share how we can move past some of the challenges we're experiencing in the homes. And we're going to tell you more about that as the CEO of Supreme Counseling for Personal Development, Sean Clark, spent some time with us here on Morning Barbados. We are also talking HR with the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados. President Nicholas Roberts and Carmel Haynes, Executive Director of the Barbados International Business Association, will be here as we get ready for your guide to professional readiness. And we're going to start there this morning because we think it's very important to have these discussions about what's happening in various business sectors all across the island. So under the theme Ready, Set, Career, we're talking your guide to professional readiness. Nicholas Roberts, again, he's president of HERMAD, and Carmel Haynes is executive director of BIBA. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning.
All right, good to have you with us. Good to have you back, Nicholas. We missed you for a minute there. You were absent last week, but it's good to have you with us. Now, Nicholas, I'm going to start with you. Let's start with talking about how important it is to maybe build a professional network to be able to get going in your career. When you're talking about building a career, how important is it to know people?
Hey, so morning again, Tisha. Knowing people is very important. It is the basis or the groundwork in terms of getting your personal brand out there. When I think about myself, when I left university, I had no idea about how to get into the job market, how to get myself seen out there. And I remember my sister telling me, use LinkedIn. That was about almost 10 years ago. And I think almost 10 years later, people do not utilize LinkedIn to its full potential. And that is just one social media platform. But there's so many tools at the disposal of today's youth. And not only the youth, job seekers and mature persons alike who are looking to be known, to be seen. You have the World Wide Web at your disposal. And I think using the internet to the best of your ability, as well as networking and gaining those connections with people who already are industry leaders, are good ways of a starting point of getting your personal brand out there and getting seen and known as a young person trying to break into whatever market or industry you're trying to broach.
That is some wonderful advice. I myself don't utilize social media the way I should. I'm most certainly not LinkedIn. Ever so often, I kind of scrub through it, but I know that there can be far more benefits if I do really kind of delve into exactly what LinkedIn is about. Now, I know there are particular very key components of professional readiness. And for this reason, there are some people who will come on the job market and they're snapped up like that, and somebody else who's not necessarily, who is equally qualified or who can get the job done, who doesn't seem as appealing. So for you, Carmel, what are some of the key components of professional readiness, and why is it important for individuals entering the workforce to be fully aware of what these key components are?
So thanks so much, Tisha. And really and truly, this ties in to one of the reasons that we are partnering with HERMAB as BIBA today on our careers showcase, which is going to be taking place at the University of the West Indies. And we really want to help students prepare to enter the global business workforce by having professionals who will be speaking to them today, answering their questions, advising them on, what directions they should take in their career path. But I always say to students that the important thing is the you factor. You have to come to the job with an energy and a willingness to work and engage, because we are now globally competitive, and especially COVID has shown us that with the remote work environment, where your competitor is no longer, the student besides you in the classroom. It's somebody that can be hired from wherever else in the world to work possibly remotely if your job allows it, right? Or if the career path that you're pursuing allows it. So you really need to ensure that not only do you have the qualifications, but you have the people skills, you have the energy, you have really the drive to work in a global workspace. And we want to encourage any students who are at UE to join us between 1 and 6 today for those sessions that HERMAB is going to be conducting to help you really prepare yourself with interview skills, etc., but also to have one-on-one conversations with the professionals from our various member firms who will be present as well.
All right, that's some great advice. And it's always good, because we assume that people who head off to university because they've started a program of study, that's the area they want to go off into. But sometimes once they get into studying, students are thinking, okay, this is not something that seems practical for me. I'd like to change. So to be able to give them some options and, help them on that journey, I think is a great initiative. Nicholas, personal branding. I kind of touched on it a little bit on social media, etc. What role does personal branding play in your professional readiness? And I think this is something that's especially important for younger people, because sometimes they get online and they feel like, okay, this is just me, the party person, but it's totally different from who I will be once I'm finished university. I'm all of a sudden going to be a professional person, and nay shall the twain meet. So let's talk a little bit about that, and how personal branding can kind of feed into professional readiness, and how the career showcase can assist individuals in effectively preparing for the world of work, with that in the being top of mind.
Mm-hmm. Tisha Carmel hit the nail on the head when she spoke about visibility, and I think she also mentioned differentiation, and those are putting words to it. As a young person coming into the job market or trying to get into the job market, we're working in a global marketplace. Gone are the times where you're competing with people just in Barbados or people within the Caribbean. We're competing with people across the entire world. So how is it that you, as a young person, are bringing not only your best self to the forefront, but how are you bringing your best self to the forefront to be seen and to be noticed? So even when I'm conducting interviews with candidates, whether it be young, mature, whatever the age, I always ask them, what is it that you are bringing to the table? And that is the purpose of HERMAB participating in the career showcase this afternoon. We're going to interact with these students and see if it is that we can pull from with them that innate thing that they can bring to the forefront to say, you know what, I am John and this is what I bring to the table. Because when you're competing against people that are not only have the technical know-how, but the emotional intelligence, the digital acumen, the business acumen, the global acumen, how is it that you are setting yourself up for success to show that you can succeed in the global marketplace? So I would say the visibility and differentiation is very important, as well as showing your value proposition to a potential employer. And a potential employer, once again, the world is your oyster. When you are online, you are so correct that you should not only be showing a party image. I know that young people have that. Always struggle between how much to share on the internet and how much of it should be professional. So once again, going to provide some tips and tricks for them in terms of how to present yourself to the world, to be your authentic self, because we don't want people to be putting on a facade or to be putting on airs online. But at the same time, you need to strike that gentle balance between showing who you are as a professional while still staying true to yourself as the person that you are.
Nicholas, I want to see your face as I make this next comment. You just said you don't want people to put on a facade online. That's what
See,
it's
I
all
know.
about.
I know. I know. Trust me.
All right. So in looking toward it, I mean, even as we think about it, you guys have been making the point that we are now globally competitive. Yes, I know that for a minute the word was globalization, and everybody thought it would have been doom and gloom because we would be competing with people around the world, no longer special subsidies or treatments for small island developing states or countries that had links to larger countries through colonialism and things of that nature. We've now passed that, and we're to a place where the world is kind of all tied into one, because the internet really has done that. People literally, headhunters are literally online every day and looking for people who can fill jobs all across the world, no matter where you are, as long as you're willing. So as you mentioned, in this rapidly changing job market, what skills and qualities do you think individuals should focus on to ensure that they are adaptable and competitive in their careers, Carmel?
Yeah, as excuse me. Yeah, so that, as I said, one of the things that we've really been pushing is to have people understand, and Nicholas touched on it in terms of emotional intelligence, but also cultural awareness, because at the end of the day, you have to prepare yourself and be ready to work with people from all over the world. You have to, we have our particular cultural nuances, or way of speaking to people, or way of interacting with people, which, we think of it as fun, but in some other places it could be offensive. So we always have to be aware of how we go out there, how we present ourselves, and how we ensure that as truly global citizens that we can work with people anywhere. I would also say that, I can't remember who said it, but they always say that you can, attitude surpasses aptitude. So you could always train people, but they have to come to the workplace ready and willing to learn. So there are people who will be looking for that. They'll be looking for, when you come there, that you're hungry, that you're energized, and you need to present that to potential employers. But also, once you get the job, you need to continue with that energy and that focus, etc., because it is a globally competitive workplace. We have companies, to your point about globalization, we have over 140 member firms in BIBA. Many of them are subsidiaries of international companies that have set up here, and they've hired Barbadian workers. They're headed up by Barbadians, right? And one of the reasons is because we have such a highly skilled workforce, but also because in most cases we come with the right attitude. We come with that willingness to learn, that energy, that friendliness that we always hear about on the tourism side of things, but it really translates across the board for when we are interacting with international investors, companies, etc. And so we just really need to keep sight of what is the best in our culture, but also be prepared to adapt to the other cultures that we are prepared to work with.
All right, well said. Nicholas, what are some of the other things that we can expect at this jobs fair? Is it BIBA Careers Showcase?
Careers Showcase,
at
yes.
UE, coming up a little later this afternoon, or is this something we're going to have to defer to Carmel?
So I'll just touch on it a bit, and I'll defer a bit to Carmel. So what I will say is that her map will be just in terms of looking at. I mentioned digital acumen, and everyone keeps talking about ChatGPT. If we hear about ChatGPT anymore, I don't know how much more we can hear about it. But just the tools that are being utilized in terms of AI, how it is that you can prepare yourself for the interview. In today's age, you think that things that would be common knowledge are not so common knowledge in terms of the way that our people present themselves in an interview. When people send out resumes, the email addresses that they're using, people are not using, once again, social media to the best of their ability to develop themselves and their social media presence and their personal brand, and not only their personal brand but their knowledge and their know-how. So we're going to wrap all of that into 3 30-minute presentations, and try not to overwhelm the students, but provide them with as much information as possible to get them ready from the time that they prepare their CV or their resume, to the time that they send it off to an employer, to the time that they get in front of the employer, and then they get the job. How can they keep the job? And as Carmel said, how are you being a global citizen? How are you working within an organization and bridging that beautiful Barbadian culture with the many cultures across the world, and making yourself an employee of choice within the various organizations that the students are looking to get into. So saying all that, then I will defer over to Carmel to add her tidbit.
Absolutely. Carmel, over to you.
Yes, so thank you, Nicholas. So this was, one of the important things that we did want to get across is not only having the interaction with the representatives from our companies from different career paths, but also preparing the students what next after they identify, the career areas they want to get into. So we're very pleased that Nicholas and Hermab have partnered with us on these sessions this afternoon. As I mentioned before, we have a range of career paths that we're going to be having representatives speak from. IT, law, digital media. We have a digital storyteller and content marketer who's going to be there. Wellness, actually, wealth and investment management, corporate services, banking and finance, communications, tax, actuarial science, accounting, trade and logistics, compliance, insurance, audit. So it's really a wide and the creative industries. I don't think I mentioned that before. But we really want to give people, especially the students, a full picture of what it means to work in global business. People have a narrow idea of what it is. They think it's usually just, dealing with trusts and funds and things like that. But really, once you live and work in Barbados and you service global clients, whether they be companies or they're individuals, the point is that you are part of the global business industry. And we want people to be able to think, have that mindset, because there are only so many opportunities that the domestic companies can provide here. So we want people to really be thinking about overseas, bringing in foreign exchange, helping to continue to boost and develop our economy.
Truly important stuff. And I'd just like to add that for those students who might have an opportunity to meet a few people today, just know that employers are always looking for good employees, even if they're on a campus and still doing their studies. Once you come into workplaces, you might get an internship. Do not view it as just an internship. Do your very best. And we have to encourage the parents to encourage the younger ones so that, the intergenerational conversations happen. And they know, because like Nicholas mentioned, there's some people who just don't know. I want to thank you. I love this discussion today. Ready, Set, Career, your guide to professional readiness. A special good morning to all of the UE students. Make sure you check in. I know it's midterm, so exams are going on. But as you mull about and do your studies, if you don't have any exams at the time, you want to make sure that you go on and check it out on campus. Thank you so much, Nicholas Roberts, President of HERMAP, and Carmel Haynes, Executive Director of the Barbados International Business Association. Thank you both. Have a great showcase this afternoon.
Thank you. Same to you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
And you. Bye. We're going to take a break. And after that very, very interesting discussion on work, we are talking relaxation with Bamboo Retreat. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, General Practitioner and Healthy Lifestyle Advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, welcome back. So we promised you that we were going to take a little break, kind of, sort of, and invite our good friend Steve Andrews, who of course is a master therapist, to come spend a little time with us again this morning as we talk about Bamboo Retreat. It's the place to go if you need a little R&R.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning,
Good
Barbados.
morning, Steve.
And I think by now, everyone in Barbados should know that's the place to go to relax, rejuvenate, and recuperate from all the stress. The world is so stressful now. Every day you get up is another battle in this world. So tough life trying to survive from day to day. And we always said, but what do we do? So it's really a place where you can come and really escape, get away from the hustles and bustles of this tough world. So we have created a nice, beautiful environment. So that you can come, you can have your massage, you can have your manis, you can have your pedis, you can have your facial. We do body wraps, body scrub, body masks. We have a sauna. We have
Let's
a hot
talk a
tub.
little bit about those body wraps and body scrubs. What does that entail? I know that day to day people are thinking, why do I need a body scrub?
A body scrub is basically, if you understand how the body works, the skin, and it shed millions of dead skin cells when the days come. And what happens, those were built up on the surface of the skin. So body scrub is really exfoliation of the skin itself. What it does is really a polishing of it. It's like your floor. After walking in it every day, you need a good shine, a good polish. But what it does is also helps to increase circulation to the skin, so you have a better texture of the skin. So after taking off all of that dead skin cells off the body, then we will help you to give you that glow and that goodness. It also helps to have a healthier body then, a healthier skin itself. So it's not necessarily just your face we work on, but we can work on the entire body as well when it comes to a body scrub.
All right.
A body mask, a body wrap now is an exfoliation of the body itself, where it helps to pull the toxin out of the body. So the process is different when it comes to a body scrub. So the body scrubs and the body wraps are totally different in terms of the treatments of the body itself, if you want to look at it in that way.
All right. Does soap and water do what it needs to do for you to be able to take stuff off? I just want to reinforce how important it is to maybe do a little extra.
Yes, soap and water will take off the grease off the surface of the skin.
Why did you have to call it degrease, man?
Well, but that's what it is. We body.
Sounds like we need a little degreaser.
Yeah, with the body actually, but you put lotion on this on your surface of the skin.
Yes.
That's what soap and water does. Body scrubs go a little bit further than just the soap and water. Like people will do a little scrub in their bathroom just to help exfoliate the skin itself. But what we do is really based on what we are using. We use different products that will get deep into the pores and unclog those pores of all of the what we will call the gunk in the surface of the skin itself. Because they get there and they block the pores itself. So you need to stimulate that part of the body to help to exfoliate the body itself.
All right, so do you do consultations, Steve? For people to come in who might not necessarily know what services they might need to be able to make an informed decision?
Right. So when you give us a call, usually if I answer the phone and I try to encourage my staff about that, those people say, can I have a massage? And the first thing I will say, well, why are you having a massage? Or can I have this service? So we try to explain what the benefits of the service are, or what the benefits you will get from the services, and then give person the ability to make that decision what. Or sometimes people might say, okay, can I have and they will say body wrap, body scrub, body mask. And we say, but you might not need all three of these, but can you get a body scrub and a body wrap can go together, but a body scrub, body mask, and a body wrap, I will not put all three in a combination like that. So it's really about guiding people what are the best, how to get the benefits out of the services that they are getting.
Let's talk a little bit about the types of massages that are available, because you mentioned that you ask, why do you want this massage done? It might be a sports person, they might just need to relax, it might be someone who's experiencing some discomfort in their body, who knows?
Well, we do several massages. We do from what we call the soothing touch is a combination. We start with a spa massage. A spa massage is basically a very relaxing massage. It's really no pressure whatsoever, that the person that just wants to be pampered. Then we have a soothing touch, which is in between. It's not too deep, it's not too gentle. And then we go on to the deep tissue massage. Those are the types of massage. Then we move to the therapeutical massage, where persons, if they're suffering from any injuries or any pain or any problem with the body, that's really a therapeutical massage that we will make the adjustment that we need to do to help to treat that body itself. One of the most common things that you get is the sciatica problem that most people have, where everybody comes and say, I have this sciatica pain, and they want you to work on their legs because that's where the problems, what they feel in the problem. So I keep saying that as therapists, we no longer do routines. We are body detective. So it's how do we find problems within the body itself, and how do we fix those problems? Like last week I was at a workplace doing chair massage, and this girl came and she sat down in front of me and said, I want my hand rubbed. I said, why do you want your hand rubbed? She said, all this numbness, and she have all these things on her hands, and she said, oh, I just want my hand rubbed. So when I had the conversation with her, I realized it's nothing to do with her hand. All the problem was in her shoulder. So her traps were so tight, it compressed all the nerves that comes down into the hand. So she find numbness and shooting pain. When she tried to pick up something, she wasn't holding on to it. And by spending 10 minutes just working on her shoulder, it just disappeared. All went away.
Absolutely. Now, the good thing about Bamboo Retreat, I think that's the perfect name for it, is that, you can come on out. It's like a retreat. You have the pool, you have the sauna. So you're not only able to come and get, that massage or that treatment done, or that wonderful consultation. We want to make sure that you're taking in the ambience of this space as well. So, if you can take a little time and come out and enjoy it, that's definitely something that you can do.
The truth is, right time you walk in, everything just changed. You feel the sense of relaxation. Myself, I'm there every day, and from the time I walk in, it's like, wow, this place is just relaxing. So you find it's like going in the middle of nature itself. You just go in and you have just greenery. I don't know if it's the ambience or the aura in this space, but from the time you walk in, you will feel different. So therapy starts from the time you walk in. And persons that just walk in just to pick up a gift vouchers always want to come back because of that. therapeutical feeling when you walk into this space. So the way that we design it is for that to have that effect, because spas is really good to free your body, to free the mind, to free everything. So you don't want to go into a space where you feel like you are locked to it. It's a space where you feel free. It's freedom itself. So for anytime you walk into Bamboo Retreat, you will get that kind of feeling of relaxation. So the relaxation don't start when you go into the room, but it's when you walk into the space itself.
And of course, people are always looking for great food. So when you head on over to Bamboo Retreat, they certainly is a new concept replacing the Soothing Touch Spa. They offer day spa and office spa services, as we mentioned, massage, manicure, pedicures, body treatments, facials, sauna, hot tub, pool. They also offer lunch. And on Fridays, you can get some special stuff. Friday evening, jerk, chicken, pork, fish. They also cater to small events, so you can do your pool party or your sparty. A lot of ladies love that, the new concept in party. So you pamper yourself and you get the friends in and have a good time relaxing as well.
Could I mention this weekend we have a class, a master class on Sunday from 10 until 2. I travel, I mean, I'm globally doing training, but you can't find anyone that is good enough that you can take with you. So I'm trying to pass some of that skills down for persons that is therapists that are looking to upgrade their skills to be better at what they do. So we are having a master class this Sunday.
How do we register?
Just give us a call, 233-3104 or 436-9405, and we can fit you in. I think we have a couple more spots left.
A master class with the master therapist, how about that? Steve Andrews coming up this weekend, so make sure you call. The number is on the screen and they're easy to find, located in St. George. We're talking about Bamboo Retreat, the only place to be for your relaxation. We're going to take a break and come on back. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why? I need
It's summer vacation, and CBC TV8 says laugh a little. Your mid-mornings have now included some family-friendly, side-splitting series like The Partridge Family, Benson, and Designing Women. TV not to be missed this vacation. Weekdays from 10 a.m. on CBC TV8. It's Matchday Live from the 246 with host Damian Best. Your all-access pass to the action happening in
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Time for us to update you on the news. 2 young men, one who was the subject of a police wanted bulletin, have been charged in connection with a recent shooting incident at a promotion fete at Thunder Bay, Lower Carlton in St. James that claimed the life of one man. Darian Robinson, who was transported from the scene early October 11th by private motor car, passed away at a private medical institution. Malik Shabazz Bacchus, 20, of Chapel Gap, Lower Carlton, St. James, and Rashay Jermaine Anthony Cadogan, 20 years, of number 78 Carlo Path, Waterford, St. Michael, are to appear in court to face the charge of murder of Darian Robinson. The 2 men were separately charged with use of a firearm. Bacchus and Cadogan are to appear before the magistrate Wayne Clark at the Holetown Magistrates Court, Holetown, St. James, today. Meanwhile, police are investigating a stabbing incident that took place in the city yesterday afternoon. The incident was reported to the Operations Control Room at around 2:09 p.m. Reports are the man in his early 20s was stabbed under his left arm along Tudor Street in the area of a track. He ran to get away through Gateway Mall and collapsed by a set of stairs at the back of that mall. He was subsequently transported to the QEH via ambulance for medical treatment. Anyone who can provide information that can assist these investigations is asked to call police emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS or 8477, or the latest police station. And that's the latest update of news. We'll have more news for you at 12 noon right here on CBC TV8, which will be followed by the radio news World at 1 on our radio services. Stay with us. More is to come.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Positive parenting builds healthier relationships between parents and children. It makes children happier, more optimistic, and more motivated to choose the behaviors that parents prefer. Supreme Counseling for Personal Development, in association with Massey Foundation Barbados Inc., CBC, and Acute Sounds, presents Building My Child's Self-Esteem, the second in a series of enlightening discussions. Join our team of renowned experts on Saturday 28th October from 5 p.m. at the Allen School, Belle Plaine, St. Andrew. This session is a life-changing experience. Join us on Saturday 28th October from 5 p.m. the Allen School, Belle Plaine, St. Andrew for Building My Child's Self-Esteem.
We had a fantastic session for the last one. If you missed it, you're going to get a chance to see it here on TV8, but we're getting ready for the second in this series. Let's say good morning and welcome Sean Clark, CEO of Supreme Counseling for Personal Development. Always great to see you, Sean.
Good morning. It's good to be here again.
All right. We need assistance more than ever now. And I just want to reflect a little bit on the first meeting that we did. I'm not sure. It's not necessarily a town hall, but I like calling it a meeting because it's just for parents to come out and meet and discuss and share. And we found that for that first one that we had at the St. Michael's School, parents just wanted to share, give a little feedback, and we spoke honestly to each other, and I think that made the difference.
Yes, and I think parents really enjoyed it. It was informative, it was educational, and we had some fun along the way. And I think that is what it is about. Having that knowledge and not keeping it to yourself, but sharing that knowledge with Barbados. And the parents who came out, some of them are not happy that we're going all the way to Belle Plaine, because they really wanted to be a part of the entire series. But we have to share the love.
Absolutely. Now, I know this time around we're looking at self-esteem, building your child's self-esteem. Last time we took a look at the
anger,
the whole idea of anger management. But a lot came out in that session that I feel will tie into this. Particularly, you'd remember an interaction with one parent that I had about how she refers to to her children. And it's in keeping with how we think in Barbados. It's almost like I know my flaws, so nobody can tell me my flaws. And people say that all the time. But sometimes it makes a difference in who it comes from.
Yes.
And we talk really harshly to each other. Even parents. Yesterday, I was in the supermarket and I witnessed one woman saying to the other woman, "Oh, you getting big and fat just like me." And she had the little daughter and she said, "Oh, and she big and fat too." And I was thinking, oh my goodness, is this her friend? Is this how we're greeting each other these days?
And sometimes they believe that they pay you a compliment.
Yes.
Yes.
People see nothing wrong with it. My grandmother used to tell people the fat as a mullet. And she saw nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's kind of cultural, but it's important to recognize that there may be children at school who are because children can say the meanest things.
Yes.
And then if you are doing that at home too, you're kind of sweeping the self-esteem right out the door.
Yes, and building a child's self-esteem really starts in the home with positive affirmations, parents saying positive things to their children. You are loved, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you got this, you can get this done. This can't beat you. I have faith in you. It starts from in the home. As when a child hears these positive things coming from parents, it really starts to help them to build their self-esteem. So much so to the point where they can become assertive enough that when they go out there, some person says, "But you're ugly." And the person was just, "No, I'm not. My mom says I'm beautiful. My dad said I'm handsome, so you can say whatever you want to say." And so we really need to start it from in the home.
All right, what are some of those things as we prepare for this presentation that you can share with your young people who might be going through something, who are at the place where the self-esteem is not necessarily where it should be? So people who are a work in progress, more or less, and we all are there. I mean, you don't feel beautiful or handsome every single day, but you might have something to lean back on.
Yes.
If you do have that positive reinforcement.
It starts with self-acceptance and teaching our children how to accept themselves, accepting your flaws, what is good about you, what is bad about you. Now, that does not mean that you're not going to try to change or to improve on the bad habits and so on, but appreciating who you are in a holistic way. We need to start from there, teaching our children to accept themselves. Start with what we call self-efficacy, letting them know you can believe in yourself, believe in your ability that you can get this done. And the parents, it needs to start there with the parents, and they have to be genuine about it, because you cannot say with your lips, oh, you're beautiful, but your eye contact or your body language says something completely different. You know, or you say that to the child, and then in the next room, the child over here, you saying something negative about them, or referring to them or comparing them to another parent, but then, you know, you lambaste that parent in the worst way possible. So we as parents, we have to be very careful how we speak to, with, and about our children.
How does good self-esteem guide or, you know, decide who we are? How important is it in the grand scheme of things to have, you know, a strong sense of self, a strong sense of acceptance of who you are, and build on strong self-esteem?
Self-esteem is almost the foundation of it all. Believing in yourself, that is almost 80% of the job done, if not more. Believing in your ability to get it done. I have an exam to do tomorrow. You know, I did my work, I did my revision. I am ready, I am prepared, I got this. I can get this done. So once you believe in yourself and you believe in your ability, then that's, as I said, about 80% of the job done.
I think the challenge is self-esteem is all about self.
It is all about self.
So even though as parents, we maybe can share, then it really is about the person themselves. How do you figure out if you have a young person in your care who needs a little help in the area of self-esteem?
Some of the signs that are speaking to you, they cannot connect with you in terms of eye contact. They're speaking and they're looking down at their shoes. They're always acting. They have this attitude of being defeated even before they try. It makes no sense in me trying that because they cannot get that done. So these are some of the signs that you can look out for. The way they carry themselves, for example. You know, if they're well kept, if they're always untidy, all of these things you can look out for to tell whether a child has a high or low self-esteem.
And once you figure that out, you know, what's the plan of action?
Once you figure that out, you can try some things at home. As I said, start with the positive affirmations, encouraging the child to believe in self. If you realize it is beyond you, then reach out for help. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with reaching out for help.
Now, there are a number of things that feed into each other. And when I think of low self-esteem, particularly with school-aged people, I think some of the times bullying and things like that really tie into how young people feel about themselves. So what role do you think the school needs to play in helping to build young people's self-esteem?
Well, the school, they need to understand, and I think a lot of the schools do, so please don't, you know, misunderstand or misinterpret what I'm saying. But the school needs to see itself as more than English and math and Spanish and French. The school needs to see itself as that institution that develops a holistic child. So we have our health and family life education. We have other organizations like Supreme Counseling. We work very well with 5 of our secondary schools. So the school needs to play that role in saying to the child, okay, you failed the exam today. That does not make you a failure. You know, let us work together to see how we can improve the next time around, and be there all the time to speak with the children, with and not necessarily to children, and help them to pull out their strengths, help them to improve on their weakness. You're not good at English, but oh my God, biology, you are the bomb. You know, and you say it with expression, you say it with meaning, so that it cannot be home and school. It has to be the two working together. They cannot work in isolation. They need to work together to build the self-esteem of our children.
Oh, that's truly excellent. Let's reinforce what's coming up on Saturday. What can people expect when we come on down for that? St. Andrew Air?
Yes, and I'm looking forward to being there. We have a panel of experts again. We have clinical psychologist Tanya Newton. She's going to be there with us. We have another male joining the panel. He's also a clinical psychologist, Chris Hurley. We'll also be joined by arts therapists and psychologists in the case of Anala, what's her name? Sherry, I think I pronounced her first name incorrectly. Forgive me, don't come for me for that. And I'll also be there on the panel. You'll be joining us. We're going to have a fantastic time. We're asking parents to come out, living in the areas of St. Andrews, St. Joseph. If you live in St. Michael and you can get there, come on out. We had a fantastic time at the St. Michael's School, and we want to be able to share with parents. There are things that you two will teach us. Because yes, we have some training in the area and so on, but we don't know it all. So it will be a learning experience, not only for parents, but for the panelists as well.
Yeah. I have a friend who moved back to Barbados, and he always says Bajans need to, they need to throw out the pride and keep the industry. So this is not a time to come out if you're having challenges with your little ones and play hide and go seek. You know, we're parents, it's a meeting, let's sit and talk openly and honestly and see how we can work together to help each other and our nation by extension. So I'll be there in the capacity of moderator, so I certainly expect to see you this coming Saturday at Allen School in Belplain. I hope I can find it for all the St. Andrew people. So if you see me stopping along the way and begging for directions, please don't tell me about the sheep and so on along the way. But I certainly will be looking forward to seeing you there. So come on out in your numbers and let's talk about how we can build our children's self-esteem. That's Saturday, 5 o'clock at the Allen School. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to introduce you all over again to an organization that most certainly is working on building girls' self-esteem, and they've been doing this for many, many years. The Girl Guides Association and all they're doing. We're talking to them next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. Good to have you with us on this Wednesday. I know a former presenter of Morning Barbados who used to refer to it as Hump Day because it's in the middle of the week. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Middle of the week for who? Especially for those of us who work over the weekend. But if you have the weekend off, it most certainly is halfway there for you. I want to say a special good morning now to Ruth Paris, who is former Chief Commissioner of the Girl Guides Association and Regional Trainer. Great to have you with us. And she's also here with Sandy Field-Kelman, who is Guider and member of the Memorial Lecture Planning Committee. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Tisha. And how are you?
I'm doing well. You'd note that I wore my colors.
Yes.
To go along with
blue.
the association.
That's right.
Yes, so it's great to have both of you with us. Now, you have a special occasion coming up. However, I want to start at the very beginning, as we like to highlight what young people are doing and highlight the agencies that help to build them up. So let's talk a little bit, Sandy, first of all, about the Girl Guides Association and how it still remains relevant in 2023.
Yes, Tisha, and why the Barbados. Girl Guides, I have been a guide since 15 years old and I'm still here. And I want to say that Girl Guides and the association is a foundation for young girls right through to your adult life. And we started in 1810, and the first meeting was held at the Queen's Park, where the Governor, Lady O'Brien, lived with a set of girls. And of course, that was years and years ago, but now we're at our headquarters at Pax Hill. And guiding teaches us, not necessarily young people, anyone, survival skills, things like making gadgets, cooking on the outdoors, building your own personal development, lots of skills for life. That's what we call it. And I really do think that the time has come, Tishia, where it should be mandatory that parents allow and encourage their children to join associations such as Girl Guides. Of course, then they have the males and so on. But I really do think it is something that takes you through your whole life, even if you don't remain in guiding. And those skill sets are so fundamental, and the foundation that it gives you. Naturally, too, you meet girls from abroad. When you go camping, you have pen pals, and you build sisterhood. And that's what we are, sisterhood. So I really do think an association, especially at this time, Tisha, is so important. And you know, people must become cognizant that these associations, they need to allow their children to join. And we have the Blossoms, the Brownies, the Guides, the Rangers, and then you can go on to be a young leader, and then become, of course, a guider like us to continue that process of encouraging young girls. So guiding is something that should be a staple on the calendar.
Absolutely, and very well said. Ms. Paris, talk to me about your journey with the Guides before we get into why we're here.
Well, my journey with the Guides started at 11, and I'm still here, just like Sandy. But it was an interesting one, and a lot of it had to do with Ednith, whom we're going to be discussing. And after becoming a guide, I decided, I went away, the studying thing and so on. But then when I returned, I realized the guides needed assistance, especially from the leadership perspective. And I came back into guiding. I went straight on to the executive. And this is the first time in over 35 years that I'm not a member of the executive of the Girl Guides Association of Barbados. It has been a very interesting and enjoyable one. Throughout the years, I learned quite a bit. And at that time, the World Association was going through several changes, especially with the Sustainable Development Goals. We have been looking at them for over 20 years now. And we continue to look at them. And I was also fortunate to play an integral part where training is concerned from the Western Hemisphere region level, which Barbados is a member. And as Caribbean Link, I'm currently the chair of the Caribbean Link of Guiding, and that is looking after 23 countries within the region. So my time in guiding has been a very fruitful one, a very educational one, and I still enjoy mentoring the girls that are within my care. Hence the reason why I'm still a guider.
So it's all come full circle, because somewhere in there, I heard you mention Ednith Paris, and now here we are talking about the second memorial Ednith Paris lecture. So let's talk a little bit about that. It's coming up on Sunday, October 29th.
Yes, it is. Well, Ednith was a mentor in all sense of the word. She encouraged everyone from the Blossom and Brownie age right up to the guider age. She enjoyed training and camping, and she will always seek out those young persons whom she thought had the leadership skills to carry the association forward. She always shared her experience with us. She was always there for us. We could always run to her and ask anything, and everybody in the Girl Guides Association know that if you were short on camp staff, Ednith was always ready to be there to give the helping hand. And having persons like her as your mentor did a lot for you and for your self-esteem, because in those days when you were overwhelmed with what you had to go through, Ednith would always say, no man, we can do it, I'll help you. And she passed this on to a lot of us, especially back in the 80s, the young persons because WAGS was really focusing on the development of young leaders. And with our, for the next 12 years, we really want to have a girl-led movement, which means that we're training girls to really become responsible leaders, that they can take over the associations. And we have 12 years to do it in that. We need time, because every association will have their challenges, and there's going to be a lot of evaluation. And this is a part of EDNIF as well that we used to go through in the Girl Guides Association of Barbados.
Now I see, Sandy, that the theme for the lecture is reimagining Girl Guides, developing ingenuity and resilience. So there's lots to cover, and that lends great scope to discussion.
Yes, on Sunday, it will be on Sunday, 4 o'clock at the Daphne Hackett Theatre. And our keynote speaker, Dr. Natalie Graves, who was in 1994 a Queen's Guide under the auspices of Marvel Lahai at Combermere School. And I'm sure that she would have lots to share with us. And reimagining, remember, Tisha, this is a new world that we are living in. We have young girls, and we have to take our program and turn it around to suit the times. So here, thus, reimagining, we want to obviously take the skill sets that we have and make it, in my opinion, more hands-on, more interesting for the young girls who are even unborn when their time comes. And as Ruth said, we want to have a girl-led association where these girls are really equipped with the tools that they need to pass on to the next generation and even this present young generation. So we need to really look at our skill sets and our program and really take a new step forward, a new focus, and reimagine how we can go forward in a positive way with our young girls, because remember, we want to keep our young girls. And you cannot do things like how when I was 15, we cannot do things now how we did them then. Mind you, there are some basic things that we still have to keep. Things like how you dress, your nails. In that day, you know, your guiders used to check your nails and so on, the way you turn your socks down and so on. So we have to really look at a new way forward. So I am sure that this lecture on Sunday will inspire so many young, middle-aged, young at heart to come and really hear what our keynote speaker has to say, especially being a Queen's Guide, and naturally bring back memories of the times before. So I think it is going to be something very enlightening, inspirational, and really something that you will leave with. So you would not, you know, necessarily come there to hear necessarily all the things that we did in guiding, but Ednith Paris, who was, I mean, a tower of strength, even when I was going to camp with her and so on. I mean, she lived guiding so much, Tisha, that she wore her uniform practically every day. And I mean, and you noticed her because her hair was long and silver. So she made a statement, and she was, I mean, excellent. And she, you know, she stood for what guidance is supposed to stand for. So I really do think that our theme for Sunday will be just bang on and excellent. So I'm encouraging all of Barbados to come and attend.
Okay, now I understand you have to RSVP. We can't just show up.
Yeah, well, of course, Queen's Park Theatre is limited seating. So
limited seating.
If you can, please RSVP so that we would have beforehand an idea of how many persons will be coming. And with the theme, I know Ednith will be smiling in her grave, because
that's right.
It says she is what the theme is this year. And I was smiling when Sandy said the silver hair, because I should say that persons would remember her. Her nickname was Silver Fox.
Silver Fox.
Ironically, when you said the silver hair, somehow I imagined a lady in the blue uniform with the silver hair as you were describing it. And somehow it jogged my memory. I feel as though I've seen her before.
2 or 3 bags.
So, you know, that is truly beautiful. So RSVP, contact the Girl Guides Association to do so at 426-2202 or Dr. Margot Clark at 245-1939. The Girl Guides and senior sections commence their month of activities on Sunday, October 1st. The Girl Guides, Rangers, and Young Leaders, They engage in a range of activities all across the month. And we're proud to be able to share this one with you. So come out to the Memorial Lecture
105th year.
coming up Sunday, the 29th of October. Now, remember, I said the month of activities commenced on Sunday, October 1st. So there were a lot of things happening that we expect you to report on.
Of course we will.
And I'm always jealous that I don't have a lot of badges for anything. So
you have to work for them.
So thank you both
It's not
for
too
coming
late.
in. It's not too late?
No.
Or
No.
who knows? I'm
We
halfway
welcome
there with
you.
the colors, right?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to take a break here. Thank you, ladies, once again
Thank
for
you
coming in.
also for
Always
having
good to
us.
speak with you, Sandy. Sandy's one of those people who's on my phone saying hello every single morning. So good to see you in the flesh. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Dr. Barker will be in. We're talking health and care. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aa.grant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. 23 minutes now before 8 o'clock. Well, we have a familiar face coming in at this time, Dr. John Barker, and today we're looking at early pregnancy assessment. Now, Dr. Barker is consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, so he's well poised to share in this particular area. Good morning, Dr. Barker. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Good to see you again.
Same here.
All right, so we're talking about early pregnancy assessment, the early pregnancy assessment unit.
Yes, please.
Where we talk about, when we get ready for having baby. Let's delve into it a little more.
Right. In terms of what this service is, the early pregnancy assessment unit, I came into vogue when I first started my specialist training in 2006 in the UK. And what it is a specialized gynecological service aimed at women who are early pregnant and who are complaining of bleeding or abdominal pain. So this would be a separate place on the gynecology ward or nearby, whereby these women could be reviewed. And the reason for this is, as you're well aware, if any person is pregnant in pain or bleeding, they would be very anxious. And then the usual trajectory would be to go to accident and emergency. And then as with most countries, and including Barbados, is a fair amount of wait in relation to waiting to be reviewed by the nurse, then the doctor, then to be either sent on the gynecology ward and reviewed by a gynecologist. So sometimes you would be in the A&E or waiting for like 3 to 6 hours. So this assessment unit has drastically reduced the waiting times, and what it would offer would be an improved patient pathway and an improved patient satisfaction.
Now, I know that, women who are experiencing challenges with their pregnancies, it can be, particularly difficult for them to be able to deal with them if you don't know what's happening, or if you feel like people aren't giving you the urgency that you really want to find out what is happening. So let's talk a little bit about this specialist service and some of the outcomes that have improved. I know you talked about being able to more or less be able to fast track, not necessarily waiting with everyone else to get things done. But let's talk about all of the advantages basically of this particular system.
Right. So the main aim is when a patient is young, pregnant, and complain of pain or bleeding, the first thing we have to diagnose is if this patient has a viable intrauterine pregnancy. And this is done by a transvaginal ultrasound. And the reason why the transvaginal ultrasound is important is because we're able to diagnose intrauterine pregnancies at least a week earlier than if we were to do them via the abdomen, which is a trans-abdominal scan. And the main importance would be to rule out an early ectopic pregnancy, which can be life-threatening in some instances. Now, in relation to what the other advantages would be is very cost effective. Now, this can be transferred over into the public or the private sector, whereby sometimes you can get decreased costs by at least 50 to 80%. But in relation to the service itself, you're seen by a gynecologist or a specialist in the field. We get a comprehensive history taken and the ultrasound, which is done. Once we come to a diagnosis, then we're able to treat accordingly. Now, the issues would come whereby if you are very early pregnant, what I relate it to is like if you crack an egg, and the white of the egg is what we call the gestational sac, and the yolk is the yolk itself. So if you do an ultrasound scan and we see the yolk, which is what we call the yolk sac in humans, um, more than likely this patient will have a normal intrauterine pregnancy, or sometimes we will find a heartbeat as well. The issue will come if we just see the sac, which is just like the egg white, but with the yolk and the embryo removed. This is where we have to decide if it is an ongoing pregnancy or ectopic pregnancy. And until that is known, because that usually takes like a week to figure out, usually the patient will have what we call a pregnancy of unknown location.
All right. Explain to us basically what an ectopic pregnancy is.
Right. Ectopic pregnancy is a pregnancy anywhere except inside the uterus. So it can be the most of them occur in the tube, the fallopian tube. And the reason why this is important is because the tube is very thin. So as the pregnancy is developing, it erodes into the tube, and this is what causes the bleeding. Sometimes they can burst right through, and then you have torrential bleeding, which could be life-threatening.
Now, I know this can be very challenging, so we understand that the unit also offers some level of psychological support as well.
Yes, usually, especially in patients who would have like repeated miscarriages or previous ectopics, this is where the assessment unit comes into play, whereby they would do what we call reassurance scans if the patient is psychologically affected from previous pregnancies or previous miscarriages. So we do reassurance scans. If you had a previous ectopic, there is an increased risk of a second ectopic. So instead of going through the chain of command, the patient is usually diverted through to the assessment unit to get an early pregnancy scan. more so earlier rather than later to rule out, to diagnose and introduce during pregnancy, just to keep her mind at ease.
I know you mentioned a few women who might have challenges, but are there other maybe high-risk women who are in the high-risk categories, or other women who really should make sure that they get into this early pregnancy assessment unit to make sure that they're on a good track even before they see any challenges? Is that advisable or only after?
Right. The main aim of the assessment unit would be to streamline the care for those with abdominal pain and bleeding. If for argument's sake you had an issue obstetrically, those patients would be referred as soon as they get over 12 weeks in terms of the plan of care to be triaged in the hospital, whereby they would be triaged as either high risk or low risk, and then go from there. But in relation to anybody coming, then the answer would be no. It will only be for a particular subset of patients in whom you will have to rule out any life-threatening disorders. If for argument's sake, the patient is like fainting and complaining of severe abdominal pain, then sometimes these patients might be better reviewed in the accident and emergency department, because sometimes if for argument's sake there's a ruptured ectopic and you're actively bleeding, then the assessment unit will not be the best place for you. So usually what I would tell people would be to call ahead just to see exactly where is the best place to go. But those would be ones like in extreme pain or like syncopal attacks and stuff.
All right, definitely have to stay plugged in, stay connected so that you know what's happening. Thank you so much, Dr. John Barker, always enlightening. And we will certainly hope that those people who might think that they have to suffer through certain things that are happening now are more equipped with the knowledge to know that they can seek the help they need. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to take another break and come back here on Morning Barbados. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
98.1 to 1 is more than a station.
We don't just play music, we keep you company, cheer you up, keep you informed and entertained. We are a vibe. What do you mean?
Every day we bring the party to you.
We are your #1 party station.
We love playing music for our listeners. And we're committed to working with our clients and advertisers to make sure that you get the attention that you deserve.
98.1 The One. Celebrating 18 and still your #1 party station.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, just a few minutes before the 8 o'clock hour, we've been introducing you to all of the radio people here at CBC. And yesterday, after I got off air, as I often do, I passed through the studios and we decided to go speak with Joanne Seeley and find out a little bit more about what she does on radio. Check it out. So we're in the radio studio to find out what's happening. We told you that we were going to be linking with many of the personalities and finding out a little bit more about them. So we decided to bring you into 94.7 FM. Joanne Seeley is the lady in the midday, and we're catching up with her right now. Hey, Jo.
Hey, morning, Tisha. I'm Mornin Barbados.
Of course, they would know you as Cup of Jo.
Yes, please.
In the morning. What's in the name?
Oh, long time. Back in the days when Tony Thompson and I had a mid-morning show. Actually, we had a morning show. And basically, we were sponsored by Cafe Blue. I don't know if you remember the days of Cafe Blue.
I do.
And they made a whole coffee for us, TJ Morning's Coffee. And from way back then, I love coffee. And I said, you know what? Anytime I come back to this side of radio, I want to be known as Cup of Jo.
Oh, that's lovely. I love the name. Now, talk to me about the Cup of Jo show. What can we expect when we tune in?
All right, so I'm inviting all of you to join me Monday to Friday, 10 o'clock to 2 in the afternoon. And on the show, when they asked me, to come and be a part of the Bajan station, Tisha, I've been in this business almost 36 years. In fact, next week, I'm going to be celebrating my 36th anniversary.
Wow.
Yes. And for all of those, pretty much all of them years, I've heard people say, we want a Bajan station, we want a Bajan station, we want to be able to hear ourselves. So it's good that we, in 2023, in fact before that, because you would have been on the first presenter on this station, and it was good to see it come to fruition, that we could have a Bajan show. So in the mid-morning, I talked to a lot of the creatives, because coming out of COVID, we had a lot of people. I'm sure that as you move around, you talk to them too. A lot of people who are doing their own business, they become entrepreneurs, and they have from people doing leather craft to natural juices to soaps to belts to everything that you can think of, you can now get in Barbados. So I chat with those creatives, mainly 12 o'clock on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And then on Friday, the people with the music, the beautiful Bajan music, they come through and spend some time with me.
That's sweet stuff. Now, 36 years is a long time. So a big celebration coming up next week. I'm sure the CBC team has something grand planned for you. So talk to me about the differences. I know that you've worked on 900 AM. You've also been a part of the 94.7 FM family in a different iteration, I believe, under the Caribbean's Best Connection banner, which would take you back. But you have been, a name that's been synonymous with radio for a very long time here in Barbados. How has being in radio changed your view of life, or how has it shaped who you are?
Oh boy, it has done a lot. I came in here as a 23-year-old, and coming through people like Merville Lynch. I had my first television show. Linda Warren would have been the person who introduced me to radio, and I had a drive time show. Then, of course, we came to QFM. I was a senior announcer of QFM, so we introduced Q in the community. So I've been a part of all of the journey, and I am really happy to be back and be a part of this initiative, the Bajan Initiative. So I've grown as a person. It has also helped me to connect with my Barbadian populace. There's nowhere that I go that people, I one day was in a dressing room trying on something, and I said, you got a size 14 in this? And the woman in the stall next to me said, wait, that's Joanne Seeley? And I was like, obviously they couldn't see me, but when I stuck my head outside, and I was like, oh, you know, she says, girl, that voice anywhere. So, it has really helped me to grow as a person, and I am so happy that Barbadians will continue to listen to CBC, and that we have been able to do all that we have done. We had a lot of firsts. We brought it to you, and we couldn't do it without you. And we say thank you very much as we celebrate our 60th.
Absolutely, that's good stuff. 60 years. That's a long time to be in any business, but certainly in broadcasting. And you've kind of run the gamut. You've been radio, you've done television as well. So what kind of, nudges radio out from everything else?
This is where I started. This is, you come here and you are natural. I find TV, you gotta do a little bit more and make sure you got your makeup and this and that and whatever. TV is just spontaneous. Radio is just spontaneous, just be who you are, that kind of thing. And I just, it's like your first baby, your first child. I've run, as you said, the gamut. This is it for me.
Yeah.
I just love radio. I really, really do.
Are there any special radio stories? Because I know, having been here for that length of time, you've been here for a lot of changes, but most importantly in technology as well. So when you came here, being on air was a lot more difficult, I'd say. So let's make the comparison.
When I first came here, we had technical officers. We had people who would do all of the queuing up the records, playing the records, the tapes and everything. You sat on one side and all you did was talk. Of course, you had to do your preparation. We had our music library. You would go in, you would determine what it is you're doing for the day, for your shift, and then you would go inside, pick your music, and the technician would do everything. And then one morning I came to work and the program manager said, we done with that. No more of that. You will do everything. It becomes a DJing system. You will do everything, play your music, do your scripting, and do everything. So it was very difficult at first, but at least we had a chance to see both sides. I would have come through with Diane Fort and some of the other names that people are very familiar with. Carol Roberts was here at the time, that kind of thing. But in terms of getting it done, I remember one day, Dan and I, we had something to edit with the little chalk and the reel-to-reel. Boy, I must be talking about some things now. Somebody must be saying she can soon start talking about 8-track. But Dan and I had this thing to edit, and we could not get it done. We hit it though. So if you don't listen in or can hear us, we messed up the entire tape and everything, and we was like, what we can do with this piece of tape now? And we hit it. Bye. We hit it. But as we got better and better, we really enjoyed everything, every aspect, because that was the good thing about it. You got to learn every single aspect of what it was that you were doing in broadcasting.
I know people talk about learning on the job, but I remember a time where we were literally transitioning to new equipment while we were using the old equipment. So both sets of equipment will be in the studio at the same time. Was that a steep learning curve for you, coming from the reel-to-reel all the way through to CDs and DATs and that machine, and then there was the one that you used to push it in carts.
Cartridges, yes.
Yes, was it a steep learning curve getting in then to the full computerization?
Yes, it was, because obviously you are so accustomed, as human, we're human, you are so accustomed to something, and at first it's like, we don't want to do this, because sometimes you don't like the change. But because you keep yourself, you do your training, and you know, that's one of the things I would say back in those days. It was a lot of training, and you were able to just smoothly move into the next phase of whatever it is that you had to do.
All right, so that's it for your Cup of Joe. Make sure you tune in to 94.7 FM weekday mornings from 10 o'clock. Joanne Seeley is the lady to take care of you.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, general practitioner and healthy lifestyle advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
It's summer vacation, and CBC TV8 says, laugh.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we hope you had a great time with us today. Coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados, actor Tay Diggs is going to be here. We're also discussing a brand new project coming up from Chef Kelston Moore, and we're talking the Pork Festival. There's so much more that's going to be on Morning Barbados, so make sure you come on back tomorrow. Remember to wear your smiles, do something nice for someone, and have a great day today on behalf of the entire crew. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.